start this thing, get this ball of clay kind of, give it a few wheel wedges, just get it going. So to start the teapot off, well, I got this big ball of clay. I'm just going to use some of it to throw the spout real quickly and just throw that off the hump. So I'm not going to, just going to go down a little ways into it. And then probably not planning to use this whole thing. Some of it might get cut away. Just make it a little wider than what I would probably want to use for it. Now, you know, if this is the bottom, you could have like a little stubby spout, something like that. You want that more towards the top. If you're going to have the spout coming out from the bottom, you want the spout to be a lot longer so it can reach past the top of it. Something like that. Put the spout up to it. The bottom of it will be kind of there. Kind of cut. Just really define the bottom so that's somewhere we're gonna run the wire underneath it when it's all done. And on spouts, it really helps to like have like a sharp edge at the end of it for when you're pouring. It kind of cuts the water off. Yeah, it doesn't get the dribble or like, you know, it's less likely to kind of go running down the bottom. It just cuts the pour, so you want a nice sharp edge on there. Made, and keep it still kind of tight so you don't go cutting through anything. Just kind of carefully lift that off, and so that's going to stick on the side of the teapot to be the spout later. You don't have to throw that off the top of the clay. You can just throw that as a separate ball of clay if you want to. So now I'll make the teapot part of it. Open it up same way you would, like as if you were, you know, you want to kind of be square about this. Don't bring it all the way out like a bowl. You're going to have to come in at the end to have somewhere to put the lid, or you're going to have this really big, right, we got the lights are freaking out, where you'll have a really big lid to meet the top of that. So. Alright, so I'm just going to lift it up, you know, into a cylinder, not going out. We don't want a bowl. And I'm leaving the top kind of thick here because that's going to be where the lid meets up with it a little bit. So get a nice cylinder going. Move this a little thicker because we're going to stretch it out kind of. guidelines to go off of. There. There. Bring the top in a little. Just leave that top nice and thick for now.
How thick is the bottom?
I'm doing the bottom of it. That's like, I don't know, that's gotta be like 3/4 of an inch maybe.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna cut away some of this stuff here. That's why I gave myself the guidelines so that as I'm cutting it away, I kind of have a place to start at, and a place to stop at.
Is that chalk or thunder?
I think that was thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried it'd be like a dry spring and summer because it's such a dry winter. It's been nice and wet, I like it. Alright, so let me get my rib tool that I like to use for this. Yeah, when I'm shaping these, there's a green one over there. It's a little stiffer, but I like to use this kind of shape rib for this. See what that looks like. Okay. Kinda like that. Maybe just a little bit wider here. Cut away some of this clay at the bottom here. I'm still gonna try to trim it later too. And then at the top here, I'm gonna do like a little kind of make a little groove in it. It's gonna be a place to set the lid. So I'm gonna start it with my finger. Just kind of pressing down on the top here. So that ought to give the lid kind of somewhere to sit down in there, and then the spout.
Usually steam will drip back in.
Yeah, and the spout will kind of be, I'm going to cut it at an angle and have it kind of sitting there on the side.
You open it all the way up, or you put little drain holes?
For the spout?
Yeah.
Do it both ways, because if you do little holes, you can use, some people will do that and use like the loose leaf tea and just throw it in there, so you don't have to use a strainer and let the holes kind of hold the tea in. It's kind of nice to do sometimes. Also kind of breaks up the water when you're pouring. Doesn't all just come rushing out that way. But I think the open's easier to clean than those holes. Anyway, yeah, cut this off, and then we'll throw the lid. This. Nate, could you give me those powerlifters, please? Alright, I don't want that in the way. Alright, that's okay. Alright, so then this is probably a lot more clay than I need for this lid. And there's a bunch of ways to make a lid. You don't have to do it this way. But this is going to fit from two ways, where that just kind of fits over the top down into it. This one's going to also want to nest inside that little ring they put in the top of this thing. So, measure. Two measurements. Like that. Just kind of eyeballing kind of what I'm going to do to it. Kind of start with this disc. It's okay to curl under it because that's not an area I'm gonna. A lot of that's gonna get trimmed away later. So I'm starting with this kind of shape. It's got this little rim thing here, and I'm gonna get my outside measurement first. So I need to come in just a little bit. And we'll start to kind of pull up this little lip here where it's going to sit. Just leave that there for now. Still need to come in some. I'm going to do it with this tool. Just a little bit more. I'm going to have to take some of this clay away because I went out too wide. No, it still needs to come in some. Just a little bit. Alright. So now that should line up to sit inside of there. But now I want to get the inside measurement too. So this thing's going to be extra locked in. you don't want to be like exact, you know, like splitting hairs. Sometimes that little like really stick in there if you get it real close. So make your, you know, give yourself just a little play for it to work. So this inside one we need to bring out. And back in the lid that I'm gonna use this tool to do it. Alright, so now that'll nest. If I had a bat I could just kind of flip it over, but it's still a little wet. But this will nest in the top of that for our lid. So later, after it's all set up, we'll put it together probably in the next class. And then put the handle on it and everything.
And then you carve the top back.
Yeah, I'll trim this thing so that I'm gonna trim like a little knob into it too. But you could throw like a little thing too to, like that one we threw something to attach to it.
Okay.
Real good. Alright.
Maybe I should make a smaller teapot.
I'll back to center.
I don't know if I should try to make the spout until I know what size the teapot is.
Yeah, I just did that to show you like you could throw it off the hump. You know, you could make the spout separate later.
There's this documentary about the guys that make the disposable teacups in India, and they make like 1,000 a day. And it's this huge pile, and they just make this teeny little Dixie cup off the top.